walk into this room at your own risk, because it leads to the future. Not a future that will be, but one that might be. This is not a new world. It is simply an extension of what began in the old one. It has patterned itself after every dictator who has ever planted the ripping imprint of a boot on the pages of history since the beginning of time. It has refinements, technological advances, and a more sophisticated approach to the destruction of human freedom. But like every one of the superstates that preceded it, it has one iron rule. Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace. This is Mr. Romney Wordsworth. In his last 48 hours on Earth, he's a citizen of the state, but will soon have to be eliminated. Because he is built out of flesh, and because he has a mind.
You've been under investigation, Mr. Wordsworth, for the mandatory period of 1 year and 11 months. You're found to be obsolete. The purpose of this hearing is to make a finding in the matter and make a sentence accordingly. Do you understand that, Mr. Wordsworth? Your occupation, Mr. Wordsworth?
A librarian, sir.
A librarian. Having to do with books.
Yes, sir. Books.
Since there are no more books, Mr. Wordsworth, there are no more libraries. The field investigators in your sector have classified you as obsolete. Your rights are as follows, Mr. Wordsworth. You are to be liquidated within a period of 48 hours. You are obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
A lie. No man is obsolete.
You have no function, Mr. Wordsworth. You're an anachronism, like a ghost from another time.
I am nothing more than a reminder to you that you cannot destroy truth by burning pages.
You're a bug, Mr. Wordsworth, a crawling insect, an ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions that you inject into your veins with printer's ink. The narcotics that you call literature, poetry, essays of all kind, all of it an opiate. You have nothing but spindly limbs and a dream, and the state has no use for your kind.
I don't care. I tell you, I don't care. I'm a human being. I exist. And if I speak one thought aloud, that thought lives, even after I'm shoveled into my grave.
The Chancellor, the late Chancellor, was only partly correct. He was obsolete. But so is the state, the entity he worshipped. Any state, any entity, any ideology that fails to recognize the worth, the dignity, the rights of man, that state is obsolete.
Hallo allemaal, daar zijn we weer, RHTV Live. Zoals altijd vanuit het mooie Maastricht. Ja. En ik zat dus in een groep en ik vroeg aan die mensen van... wat weten jullie over Nederland? En ja, toen viel het heel stil. Ja. Goed, we streamen live vanuit Maastricht. Hello to you all. We are streaming live from Maastricht. And we're going to touch upon some Dutch history. So, for all you foreigners out there, you better take a look. Ja, we gaan even een animatiefilmpje laten zien. Hier hebben we het. The history of the Netherlands. So let's take a look at this, right?
First 3 months at audible.com/SUIBHNE, only available for a limited time, so sign up fast. Die moerassige en riviergevouwde lage landen was een doornbevolkt gebied onder het Heilige Roomse Rijk, waar zeer goed werden het bouwen van dijken, kanalen en windmolens om water uit hun land te pompen en één Europa's handelscentrum en één broodman te creëren. Die vroege Nederlanders werden beroemd om handel, scheepsbouw en hydro-engineering en de Frankische taal die daar werd gesproken begon te evolueren naar de Nederlandse taal, of de taal van het Lage Land. En dus waren de Nederlanders geboren. Feudalism held sway in the land, and as the trade increased, the cities of Amsterdam, Brugge, and Antwerpen prospered, and soon these trading posts became more and more integrated into the Hanseatic League, a sort of trade agreement in the North Sea after the Viking raids had ceased. Through both conquest and inheritance, the Dutch counties came under the control of the House of Burgundy, who then passed it on to the Austrian House of Habsburg. They pulled the Netherlands out of the Hanseatic League and then took over control of trade themselves. This is known as the era of the 17 provinces. But by this point, the merchants had begun to embrace Calvinist Protestantism. This led to the Dutch Revolt, also known as the 80 Years' War, also known as the Dutch War for Independence. The war was a complex mix of secular, religious, and mercantile motives, but saw the northern provinces unite in the Treaty of Utrecht against the Spanish Union of Arras. The Spanish marched north though and managed to take back most of the south. In 1581, the United Provinces declared themselves free and independent, and the war became about securing that declaration. During the war, the Protestants in the south fled to the north, and the French Calvinists, called the Huguenots, followed suit, making Netherlands a firmly Protestant-controlled nation. And in 1588 became a confederated republic because they couldn't really find a good king. Instead, they instituted the stadholders with the House of Orange-Nassau, but only with the province's approval. The Dutch were very good at two things by this point: water and money. So they combined them and formed the Verenigde Oost-Indische Company to begin trade in the Indian Ocean. The Dutch revolt overlapped with the broader 30 Years' War, in which Spain was defeated and finally recognized as independent in the Peace of Westphalia. Jewish settlement increased as the tolerance of the new republic was appealing to the persecuted Sephardic Jews, as well as growth in the small community of Ashkenazi Jews. The VOC brought immense wealth to the Dutch Republic, revolutionizing modern banking and finance. Dutch citizens enjoyed shares in the company, helping spread the wealth more evenly. This fueled the Dutch golden ages of art, architecture, and building of universities, making huge strides in science and medicine. The VOC dominated trade for half a century, founding trade colonies all over the world. It wasn't all rainbows and sunshine. The VOC operated with little to no oversight and were often very violent and engaged heavily in the slave trade. They eventually lost this dominance to the English, but their legacy as engineers and shipbuilders and financiers continued to spur growth. This became aggravated by Dutch merchants lending money to foreign powers, thereby protecting and growing their own wealth, which simultaneously stagnated the economy in the Netherlands while propping up foreign nations. But, that's capitalism for you. The decline in prosperity and the devastating Anglo-Dutch wars soon made them prime targets for. French revolutionaries overthrew the Dutch and created the Batavian Republic, then a monarchy under Napoleon's brother before final annexation into the French Empire, including the southern Netherlands. When Napoleon was defeated, the Congress of Vienna created the United Kingdom of the Netherlands, merging with the southern Netherlands to create a buffer state between France and the German states. William I of the House of Orange was made king. However, it was pretty short-lived because the southern Netherlands was almost all Catholic, and the French language was far more important there. The South fought an independence war and broke away from the Dutch, forming the nation of Belgium. The Dutch returned to their economic ways and were decidedly neutral during the First World War. After the chaos died down, they found themselves battling the Great Depression mostly by furthering trade with their colonies in Suriname and the Dutch East Indies. This was halted during the Second World War, in which the Netherlands was invaded to bypass the Maginot Line. The small country fell to the Germans and its Jewish population were deported and killed in the Holocaust. Rotterdam, the second largest city and major trade port, was firebombed and completely destroyed by the Luftwaffe. The Dutch East Indies was lost to Japan in 1942. Operation Market Garden was part of a larger strategy to cross the Rhine River to advance into the northern Netherlands and northern Germany, but it was deadlock and they ultimately failed to capture the crossing at Arnhem in September of 1944. Instead, the troops would concentrate on Wesel and Ries on the Rhine to liberate the Netherlands, punching a deep hole through German territory and invading from the east. This incredible military achievement saw the greatest paratrooper landing in history, with more than 1.2 million allies involved, a massive success for the allies who were able to advance around the Dutch choke point. You can learn more about this real-world event in the incredible audiobook 4 Hours of Fury by James M. Fenelon, for free for new members when you sign up for Audible, an extremely well-researched and well-documented.
So there you have it, right? This is the Dutch history in a nutshell, from the beginning of the Dutch colonies, provinces, towards the Second World War, right? So let's take a look at what happened back then. There's this movie called The Admiral, and it's one of the best Dutch movies there is, according to me. Who am I? You know, and it tells about our history. So here we have it. Dutch Golden Age, Johan de Witt, which was a politician in the Netherlands. He was sliced and diced, basically, with his brother. And yeah, he's a hero. So let's take a look at this here.
Mijn vader werd ooit gevangen gezet op slot Loevestein, omdat hij het niet eens kon worden met de prinsgezinde. En zo heb ik ervaren hoe het is om te leven in een land waarin men niet mag denken wat men wil. Is dat een land waarin u wilt leven? Ik niet. En ik denk u ook niet. Dus laat mij u een vraag stellen. We leven in een land van kooplui. We varen met een vloot van 20.000 schepen over de wereldzeeën om overal zaken te kunnen doen. En in de handel werken we als Nederlanders allemaal samen. Om een goede prijs te bedingen, om elkaar te helpen in nood. En wat denkt u? Heeft dat gewerkt of niet? Ja. Ik zie dat sommige afgevaardigden nauwelijks meer in de bankjes passen. En dan vraag ik u, als u in de Oost of in de West zaken doet, doet u dat dan als prinsgezinde of als staatsgezinde? Nee. En waarom denkt u dat de Engelsen onze aanvoerroutes blokkeren? En onze handel proberen stil te leggen? Is dat omdat u prinsgezind bent of staatsgezind bent? Nee. De Engelsen willen oorlog met ons voeren omdat wij Nederlanders zijn. Vrije Nederlanders. Want in de ogen van de grote koninkrijk is ons kleine landje te rijk, te succesvol en te vrij. Want we zijn ook nog eens een republiek. Waarin het eenieder vrij staat om te leven zoals men wil. Het is een land waar we zelf uitmaken hoe we God aanbidden. Waar geen enkele leider belangrijker is dan het land zelf. De Engelsen gunnen ons die vrijheid niet. Ze worden bang van die vrijheid. Omdat wij bereid zijn te sterven voor die vrijheid. Dat is het. Omdat we die vrijheid met ons eigen bloed hebben betaald. Daarom, en ik vraag het u. Heeft niet ieder van u een familielid verloren tegen de Spanjaarden of de Engelsen? En was dat staatsgezind bloed of prinsgezind bloed? Nee. Dat was Nederlands bloed. Dat was ons bloed. Dit is ons land. Het is een land dat we zelf op het water hebben veroverd. Een land waar we ons geluk zelf verdienen. Door de handen uit de mouwen te steken. In de dorpen, in de steden, in de havens, op het land. vrijheid alleen beschermen als we ook willen vechten voor die van een ander. Dat is de band die de 7 pijlen in de klauw van de Nederlandse leeuw samenhoudt, mijn heren. Dat is de band! Uw vrijheid is mijn vrijheid. Een vrijheid die tot mijn laatste adem zal verdedigen.
Your freedom is my freedom. And I'll defend it to my last breath. You know, this is Dutch history, you know, and it's subtitled so you guys could follow it. And, yeah, you know, just trying to explain our history so you guys have a better view on European history, basically. You know, we are Europeans, so therefore, yeah. It's always good to know about Dutch history, right? So we had that, and as you may have seen in the video clip that we just showed, the animation, there was also a Belgian Revolution in 1815, right? So, and the Dutch took part in that. That's why you have 2 parts in Belgium, one part speaking Dutch or Flemish, Vlaams, and the other part speaking French, you know? So we have another animation to explain this to you guys.
Belgium exist? The first thing to answer is how Belgium came into existence in the first place. After the Napoleonic Wars, Europe was a drastically changed continent, and one of the major changes that occurred was that the Austrian Netherlands was incorporated into the brand new United Kingdom of the Netherlands. King William I of the Netherlands was a Protestant who had little interest in preserving the rights of the South's Catholic residents. He used much of the South's industrialised economy to fund the North, and he was also a bit of a despot. This was obviously a problem, and in 1830, when riots broke out, talk soon turned to secession. William tried to crush the revolt, but many troops in the south quickly defected. William needed help, and so he asked the Great Powers for assistance. And the Great Powers did help, but they helped the south and recognised the new country's independence, and the new country was called Belgium. Recognition of independence was done on one condition. It had to be a monarchy, because none of that republicanism stuff, absolutely not. The Belgians would finally have a king that would represent them, a local, a Catholic, and a man who wouldn't try to expand the power of the monarchy and become a despot. Instead, they got Leopold I, a German-speaking Protestant who quickly expanded the power of the monarchy, but you know, 0 out of 3 isn't bad. Even with Leopold, Belgium had come out ahead, given that at the London Conference France had proposed that Belgium be divided between its neighbours. This was the Talleyrand plan and was rejected by the British because France can't have nice things had been British foreign policy for over 400 years at this point, and that wasn't going to change anytime soon. Also to Britain, Belgium was seen as an important buffer state that would limit the scale of any future Franco-Prussian war, in theory. William I didn't accept Belgian independence and so invaded in 1831, but the French came to the Belgians' aid and sent the Dutch packing. In 1839, William accepted Belgian independence and the Netherlands would never again try to reclaim the south, which now included this land from Luxembourg. And it was also in this year that Britain guaranteed Belgian neutrality. Immediately after Belgium's formation, tensions arose between the Dutch-speaking population in the north, the Flemish, and the French-speaking southerners, the Walloons, whose language was the official language of the state. The initial hope was to get northerners over time to speak French, but fun fact, no. Tensions between the two groups would rise, but the threat to dissolve Belgium never went anywhere since both peoples largely saw unity within Belgium as better than the alternatives. So what about any future threats? Finding out why Belgium exists in the first place isn't the same as asking why it still exists. And the fledgling nation wasn't without its concerns. French and German leaders coveted parts of Belgium in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, but the British guarantee and a fear of upsetting the balance of power stopped any action. It wasn't until World War I that the second tangible threat to Belgium's existence occurred when German troops crossed into the country in order to get to France. Germany occupied most of the country, and after the war the plan was for these areas to be annexed into Germany, and these areas would become a rump state under a new monarchy. Towards the end of the war, Germany made a concession on these demands and would respect Belgian independence so long as it was split into two nations, the Northern Flemish one being aligned with Germany, who would gain Antwerp. This never happened because, obviously, and Germany eventually lost the war. Belgium then got to sit at the winners' table and was even given this territory from Germany. Although at first Belgium had made much larger demands, because it wanted to annex Luxembourg and to take territory from the neutral Dutch, since apparently Belgium holds a grudge. The last threat to Belgian existence came during World War II when it was conquered. It was originally administered as a single unit along with a chunk of northern France, but Hitler had very little in the way of concrete plans. The Belgian collaborators had hoped for Belgium to be split like this, with Flanders being merged with the Netherlands. Yet Germany was unwilling and unable to do this since it was busy losing the war. In late 1944, Germany then formally annexed Belgium, a plan which had one snag: it had already been liberated, and so that's not how that works. No other nation would threaten Belgian existence thereafter, and all attempts to split the state would from then on be internal in nature. Belgium's existence is actually quite remarkable, given that it spent one of the most dangerous periods in European history sandwiched between two nations that really liked annexing things. In the end, the Belgian people would find union together, despite their differences, much more compelling than any of the alternatives, and that is why Belgium exists. I hope you enjoyed this episode.
So, there you go. That's it in a nutshell. And I hope you guys understand now, So we covered Dutch history, Belgian history, and there's a lot more to tell, of course. You see, when we fought the Spanish, our act of liberation, the Catholics were basically everywhere in the Netherlands, right? You had Catholic images, statues, and stuff like that. And we had the Beeldenstorm, which is the removal of Catholic statues and stuff like that, in 1566. So and this was the beginning of the 80-year war against Spain, right? This is a prelude. Dus, ja, jullie snappen het wel. Hè? Voor de Nederlanders die meeluisteren, jullie snappen het wel. Althans, neem ik aan. We gaven een beetje geschiedenis van Nederland. En ja, we zitten nu in 1566, de opstanden in Nederland, waar ze allerlei katholieke beelden weg hebben gehaald. Ja. Tijdens de beeldenstorm in 1566 werden in verschillende steden in Europa, waaronder de Lage Landen, religieuze beelden en liturgische gebruiksvoorwerpen in de katholieke kerken verwoest. De beeldenstorm leidde indirect tot het uitbreken van de 80-jarige oorlog en het ontstaan van de Republiek der 7 Verenigde Nederlanden. Ja, een beetje geschiedenis, mensen, kan geen kwaad. En ja, het is altijd goed om te weten. Want ja, we leven in Nederland en heel veel mensen die hebben geen besef waar ze precies in leven. Ook wij kennen een heel geschiedenis. En daar mag je best trots op zijn, op die geschiedenis. We also have a whole history, and you should be proud of your history. You know, we were fighting against the biggest empire in the world, the Spanish Empire. You see, they were everywhere. In South America, in, Mexico, and America. You know, Europe they had under control. They were in Africa, parts of Africa, and also East Asia, Southeast Asia. So they were everywhere. We fought the biggest army, and we won. Eventually. It took 80 years. Het heeft 80 jaar geduurd Maar uiteindelijk hebben we toch gewonnen. Onze vrijheid prevaleerde boven de Spaanse imperium. En daar mogen we best trots op zijn. Serieus. Dus we hebben heel veel bereikt als Nederlanders zijnde. We hebben ook een zwarte pagina, slavenhandel en noem het allemaal maar op. We zijn heel vaak overgenomen. Neem bijvoorbeeld de Bataafse Republiek, Batavian Republic, right? We just saw in the animation that the French took over the Netherlands in the Napoleonic era, right? So Napoleon said this is a new republic, the Batavian Republic, and the Netherlands was like, okay, if you say so. Ja, de Bataafse Republiek, mensen. En heel veel mensen denken dat dit juist de Republiek was. Nee, dit is een overname van de Republiek. Ja. We begonnen de Republiek nadat we de Spanjaarden hadden verjaagd uit Nederland. Toen begon de Republiek. Dit is een kopie van de Republiek. Onder Franse bewind. Ja. Dus, so this is a copy of the Republic under French occupation, right? En ja, eigenlijk mogen we ook wel trots zijn op de plakkaat van verlating. Ja, plakkaat van verlating, wat is dat dan? Ja, dat is de juridische weg die wij bewandeld hebben om dus uit het Spaans imperium te komen. Ja, even kijken of we dat kunnen vinden. Ah ja, hier. Zo. Kijk, plakkaat van verlating. Ja. The act of abjuration. Yeah. This was our independence proclamation from the Spanish Empire. And, this was way before there was an United States of America. Right? There even was a president that came to the Netherlands to ask for money so we could sponsor the war against the English during your revolution. Right? Do you guys remember that? Who was that president? Wie was de Amerikaanse president die naar Nederland toe ging om te vragen voor geld? Wie was het ook weer? Iemand? Anyone? Who was the American president who went to the Netherlands to ask for support against the French, or the English, I mean, during your independence? Who was that? Anyone? No? No one? Weet er niemand welke Amerikaanse president naar Nederland toe ging om geld te gaan vragen? Niemand? Ja, dit is toch wel heel triest, hè? Very sad. It was John Adams. Yeah. For the people who don't know. Dus John Adams, die kwam naar Nederland toe ten tijde van de Republiek. Een beetje tegen het val van de Republiek aan. Maar die vroeg dus geld om de revolutie in Amerika te steunen. Ja, John Adams, onthoud het goed. Er is ook in Amsterdam een John Adams instituut. Ja. Dus we gaan even een stukje daarnaar kijken. John Adams meets the Dutch. And during his visit, he was very sick. He was feverish and stuff like that. So, a very, very good series. I'm going to take a look at this here.
New York and New Jersey were first settled by your countrymen.
May I remind you that the Netherlands were a republic long before America was even an idea.
Indeed, sir. If I may, America and Holland are so close in history, in religion, in government, that any Dutchman instructed in the subject must pronounce the American Revolution just and necessary. Or pass censure on the greatest actions of his immortal ancestors.
How much money do you seek, Mr. Adams?
An initial loan of $10 million.
Een bescheiden verzoek.
Bescheiden man.
So there we have it. John Adams went to Amsterdam to ask us for money for your revolution against the English. Right? And, we didn't really want to get involved in another Anglo-Dutch war, right? We had our own problems with the English. So that's why we said, nope, sorry, can't help you there. Ja, mensen, dat is Nederlands geschiedenis. En ja, als je een beetje goed hebt opgelet, dan weet je waar we het over hebben. Dus we hebben ook een andere filmpje gevonden, waar we dus een eerbetoon aan gaven als RHTVLive zijnde. Het is het meisje met het rode haar. Ja, het meisje met het rode haar. Hannie Schaft. Ja. En dit is toch wel een heldin voor Nederland. Dus we geven eerbetoon aan haar. En we laten ook een filmpje zien. So, Hannie Schaft was someone during the Second World War, right? A resistance fighter against German occupation. And she basically, there were people within the resistance that, told the Germans, that guy or girl lives there and there, and, and she killed those people who ratted out people from the resistance.
Dat de Duitse overheersing tot weerstand zou leiden in Nederland is direct na de capitulatie duidelijk. Aanvankelijk bestaat het verzet uit slecht georganiseerde groepen, maar in de loop van de oorlog verandert dat. Er zijn na de februari-staking van 1941 meerdere verzetsgroepen actief met sterke structuren. In dat jaar wordt ook meer en meer duidelijk dat de nazi's Joden als tweederangs burgers zien. Deze vorm van discriminatie stuit veel Nederlanders tegen de borst. Het verzet krijgt meer aanhang en meer steun van de bevolking. Het verzet bestaat lang niet alleen uit mannen. Er zijn ook veel vrouwen actief en zelfs meisjes. Eén van hen is het meisje met het rode haar, Hannie Schaft. Het monument aan het Hannie Schaftplein in Oostzaan herdenkt Jannetje Johanna Schaft, zoals ze officieel heet. Zij is zonder twijfel de bekendste verzetstrijder van ons land. 2 weken voor het einde van de Tweede Wereldoorlog wordt zij gefusilleerd in de duinen bij Overveen.
En ik zo vreselijk dat ze in die duinen daar zo alleen heeft gelopen en dan die kerels achter haar aan met en dat dood hebben geschoten. Hoe moet ze zich gevoeld hebben? Zo alleen. Helemaal alleen. Niemand bij haar. Dat is toch vreselijk, hè? Daar denk ik aan. Daar denk ik veel aan.
Freddy Overstegen en haar oudere zus Truus hebben Hannie Schaft van dichtbij meegemaakt. Ze zaten bij elkaar in de verzetsgroep en gingen regelmatig samen op pad. Om, zoals ze dat zelf noemden, klusjes op te knappen. Het verzetwerk wat ze deden was zwaar en spannend.
Spelen met je leven, ja. Je wist dat als...
So this is a friend of Hannie, who was also in the resistance, right? And she says it's very dangerous. You're playing with your life and putting others in risk. Heel erg aangrijpend om dit te zien. Ja, dit is een stukje geschiedenis, een zwarte bladzijde die we nooit zullen vergeten.
Als je iets verkeerds deed, wat zij verkeerd noemden, wat wij goed vonden natuurlijk. Als je dat deed, dan kon je gepakt worden. Dat was gewoon zo. Dan ging je naar een concentratiekamp. En uit een concentratiekamp was het heel zelden dat je daar kon ontsnappen. En de meeste mensen gingen er dood.
Hannie Schaft. Samen met haar oudere zus Annie groeit ze op in Haarlem, waar ze een normaal bestaan leiden. Haar beide ouders zitten in het onderwijs. Als Hannie 7 is, gebeurt er iets vreselijks in het gezin. Haar oudere zus Annie overlijdt na een ernstige keelontsteking. Kort daarop verhuist het gezin naar een nieuwe buurt. Hannie houdt van lezen en tekenen en heeft niet veel vriendinnen. Op school is het een voorbeeldige leerling met alleen maar goede cijfers.
Hannie was een meisje die kwam nooit te laat. Wat nogal veel voorkwam bij ons, dat we probeerden een keer te spijbelen. Daar hoef je bij haar nooit een keer aan te denken. Maar het was een meisje wat eigenlijk alleen maar één ding kende. Dat was haar werk doen.
Thuis wordt veel over politiek gesproken. Hannie ontwikkelt een groot rechtvaardigheidsgevoel. Ze kiest in 1938 de studie rechten, omdat ze later graag bij de Verenigde Naties wil werken. Ze richt zelf een studentenvereniging op voor meiden, het dispuut Gemma. Er wordt veel gediscussieerd over de politieke spanningen in Europa. Tijdens haar studie ontmoet ze Sonja Frank en Filine Polak, waarmee ze bevriend raakt. Filine en Sonja zijn Joods. Hannie maakt van dichtbij mee hoe zij ernstig gediscrimineerd worden. En zo komt Hannie Schaft tot haar eerste verzetsdaden. Eerst regelt ze valse persoonsbewijzen en daarna onderduikadressen.
So for the English-speaking viewers, we have a sign here.
Hoe komt Hannie Schaft tot haar...
Voor Joden verboden. It's a very dark page in our history. And Hannie had 2 Jewish friends. So she saw firsthand how these people were treated.
Haar eerste verzetsdaden. Eerst regelt ze valse persoonsbewijzen en daarna onderduikadressen voor haar vriendinnen Filine en Sonja.
Het eerste adres dat Hannie voor mij verzorgd heeft was in Zeist. En daar ben ik ongeveer 9 maanden ondergedoken geweest. En toen het daar niet meer ging, en toen ik daar plotseling weg moet, heb ik haar opgebeld om te vragen of ze een oplossing voor het probleem wist. En zonder enig aarzelen zei ze, ook het naam van haar ouders, kom bij ons.
Bij ons is de Van Dortstraat in Haarlem. Het is 1943 en Hannie woont intussen weer bij haar ouders. Ze is gestopt met studeren omdat ze weigert deze loyaliteitsverklaring te ondertekenen. Hierin beloven studenten dat ze zich niet zullen verzetten tegen de Duitsers. Hannie is niet de enige. 85% van de Nederlandse studenten weigert dit document te tekenen. Kort hierna sluit ze zich aan bij de zogeheten Raad van Verzet in Haarlem.
So there was a document students needed to sign aligning themselves with the Nazi regime, basically. And Hannie said, nope, I'm not going to do that. 85% of the Netherlands, of the Dutch students said, nope, we're not going to do that. Ja, mensen. Een donkere bladzijde in onze geschiedenis. Maar wij belichten het wel.
Een verzetsgroep waarin veel communisten zitten en waarvan de leden veel sabotageacties plegen.
Bijvoorbeeld garages in brand steken waar voertuigen stonden van de Duitsers. En tanks en dergelijke. En vliegtuigen hebben we onschadelijk gemaakt. Wat enigszins gesaboteerd kon worden, dat deden we wel.
Truus en haar zusje Freddy zijn dan nog maar 17 en 19 jaar oud. Toch zitten ze al een tijdje bij de RVV. Ze ontfermen zich over Hannie, die dan 22 is.
Toen Hannie er later bij kwam, was ik in het begin wel jaloers daarop. En in 1943 kwam ze erbij, dus toen was ik denk ik 17, moet ik even rekenen. Want Truus, dat was mijn maatje. Er kwam Hannie erbij, ja, die paste beter bij elkaar wat leeftijd betrok.
Wat ook bij het verzetswerk hoort, is het neerschieten van verraders. Ook Hannie moet dit doen. Een klusje dat geen van de jonge meiden leuk vindt.
Het was gewoon eng, het neerschieten ook, dat was eng. Gaf je een akelig rotgevoel in je maag, ja. Want je ziet iemand vallen, hè. Dan heb je dan de neiging, wat heb je, om ze op te vangen. Het is zo onverklaarbaar dat als je iemand doodschiet, dat je hem erop zou willen rapen. Ja, dan kan je zien dat je dan nog heel jong bent. Hè?
Om de moed erin te houden, zingen ze regelmatig socialistische liedjes.
We hebben de Westen ten grave gedragen, met kogels doorzeefd en bloedig geslagen, door beulen gegrepen.
Een van Hannie's collega-verzetstrijders is de 30-jarige Jan Bonenkamp. Een stoere vent die voor niets of niemand bang is. Hannie is gecharmeerd van hem en trekt steeds meer met hem op.
Zij was goed bevriend met hem. Of dat nou liefde is geweest, ik weet het echt niet. Zoals hij eruit zag, was het echt een macho. Dat was een leuke vent om te zien. En hij oogde ook wel goed. En hij maakte ook wel indruk.
So Hannie was close to another resistance fighter. This guy here. And yeah. Very sad to see.
Steeds meer met hem op.
Zij was goed bevriend met hem. Of dat nou liefde is geweest, ik weet het echt niet. Zoals hij eruit zag, was het echt een macho. Dat was een leuke vent om te zien. En hij oogde ook wel goed. En hij maakte ook wel indruk op de andere verzetsmensen. Dat had je wel met Jan.
Samen met Jan zit Hannie Schaft vanaf 1944 ondergedoken in Limmen. Ze hebben een innige band. Ze doen veel verzetswerk samen. Begin juni 1944 worden ze door RVV-commandant Jan Brasser gevraagd voor een gevaarlijke opdracht. De Zaanse SD-commissaris Ragout moet worden doodgeschoten.
En ik heb hem gewaarschuwd, denk erom. Ik weet van mijn politiecontact in Zaandam dat hij 2 pistolen op zak heeft.
So this guy here was high in the rankings, right? And he gave her the order to kill a German officer.
En dat hij zich uitgelaten heeft als er een aanslag op hem gepleegd wordt. Dan ben ik daarop voorbereid. En ik zal zorgen dat ik eventueel ze voor ben.
Na een zorgvuldige bestudering gaan ze op 21 juni 1944 op pad. Hier, op de westzijde in Zaandam, willen ze hem liquideren. Eerst zal Hannie schieten en daarna Jan, voor de zekerheid. Maar het gaat vreselijk mis. Na Hannie's schot blijkt Ragout nog te leven. Vrijwel tegelijkertijd schiet Jan Bonenkamp op commissaris Ragout en commissaris Ragout op Jan Bonenkamp. Ragout sterft ter plekke. Jan Bonenkamp fietst zwaargewond door. Hannie is...
So they finished the assassination on the guy, right? And she shot first, and Jan Bonenkamp, which was an intimate friend of hers, shot after, but the guy was still alive, you know, and he shot Jan in the back. And very, very sad. And ever since, Germans were searching for her. She was known as the girl with the red hair. Ja mensen, een stukje geschiedenis bij RHTVLive. So, Dutch history, and there's a lot more to tell, like Anne Frank. You guys probably know Anne Frank, right? She was a Jewish girl hiding behind the bookshelves in Amsterdam. And there's also a museum you can go to, the Anne Frank Museum. She's also one of the Dutch heroes who did not survive the Second World War, but still has a legacy. Her books are still being read to this day. To this day, her books are still being read. You know? So, let's take a look at that. And Frank diary there. Anne's most precious possession. She was also ratted out, basically, and her father found the diary and published it after the Second World War. He was the only survivor of the Frank family.
Family went into hiding in the secret.
Wait.
Anne Frank is famous for her diary.
Maybe one of my nicest presents.
She wrote. This red checkbook was a present from her parents on her 13th birthday. It wasn't a surprise gift. Anne had been allowed to choose it herself. A few weeks after her birthday, the family went into hiding in the secret annex.
I am oh so glad that I brought you with me.
She wrote in her diary. Anne missed her friends, and in her diary she pretended she was writing letters to a large group of imaginary friends. Finally, she picked one, and the rest of the diary entries were addressed to Kitty.
Dear Kitty, I like writing to you most. You know that, don't you? And I hope the feeling is mutual.
In the diary, Anne wrote about her life in the secret annex, about the arguments with her mother and Fritz Pfeffer, the final addition to the group in hiding who shared her room, and about her fears and emotions.
The whole house is echoing with arguments. Mother and I, Van Pels and Papa, Mother and Madam, everyone's angry with everyone else. Nice atmosphere, don't you think?
After the Dutch government in exile broadcast a radio appeal asking people to keep diaries and documents, Anne decided to edit her diary so that it could be published as a book after the war. She even had a title, The Secret Annex. She rewrote parts of the original diary on loose sheets of paper, leaving out some entries she found too private. But Anne never got to finish her book. The hiding place was discovered and they were arrested. Two of the helpers, Miep Gies and Beb Voskuil, found Anne's diaries and saved them. Only Anne's father, Otto, survived the war. On his return to the Netherlands, he read her diaries and was surprised. He had had no idea she had such profound thoughts or was so self-critical. He decided to carry out Anne's wish and publish the diary. Her book was published on the 25th of June 1947, 2 years after her death.
And still, people are reading the book, to this day. So that's an hour of Dutch history, right? And I hope you guys enjoyed the Dutch history class, basically. And yeah, I hope that I've explained enough. So, goodbye from the Netherlands. And next time we'll talk about the news, right? A lot's happening around the world. There's this Canadian shoot down. We can show that, right? Ja, mensen, er is boven Canada is wat gaan vliegen. An unidentified flying object above Canada. And we're going to take a look. Ja, even zoeken hoor. Even kijken. Hier is die artikel. Zo. En dan gaan we even de scherm delen. Ja. Zo. White House. Unidentified object shot down did not closely resemble a Chinese balloon. Yeah, okay. Let's see. The unidentified object shot down over Alaska and Canada did not resemble Chinese balloons, the White House said on Sunday, today. Driving the news, these objects did not closely resemble and were much similar than PRC balloon, and we will not definitely characterize them until we can recover the debris, which we are working on, the spokesperson for the White House National Security Council said per Reuters. On Saturday, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced that that the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, downed an unidentified object over the Yukon. And let's see where that is on the map. Even kijken, de Yukon in Canada. En we gaan even kijken. Yukon, zo. Bij Alaska, hier heb je de Yukon. En ja, so this is the Yukon. And the aircraft was downed somewhere here along these borderlines. That's a big area. Nou, rijst de vraag. Je hebt dus te maken met een Chinese ballon. Althans, dat zegt de overheid. Die Chinese ballon die gaat weermetingen doen volgens China. En die raakt off course. Die raakt buiten de koers. Ja, dus dan gaat hij eerst langs Rusland, over de Belingzee, en dan Alaska en Canada, en dan naar Amerika toe. En hier buiten op het Noord-Atlantische Oceaan, hier wordt hij dan afgeschoten. Dat is de eerste ballon, hè? Dat is de eerste ballon. Dat laten we ook zien. Moet ik eerst even op gaan zoeken. Zo. Even kijken hoor. Natuurlijk heel veel video's en zoiets. Hier. Nee, die niet. Even kijken of we iets kunnen vinden. Balloon shot down. Zo. We kijken ondertussen ook op YouTube, ook op andere kanalen. Dus we gaan even iets laten zien. Nogmaals, over de eerste ballon die hier zo werd afgeknald in de oceaan. The first balloon went over Alaska, through Canada, over the United States, and was shot down at the North Atlantic. And I wonder how come. I wonder why. You know? Vraag me af hoe het nou komt. Ja. We hebben een video gevonden. En even kijken. So this is the first balloon shot down near, where was it? New York or something like that, right? So here we go.
Of the day. It's the Chinese spy balloon found by the U.S. Navy.
The U.S. Navy coming in with the China balloon.
You can see balloon fabric on the boat deck and boxes being unloaded on the dock. The balloon was discovered off North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Debris from the shoot-down lies scattered across 7 miles.
Some of it's intact. They'll be able to easily determine.
So there you have it, right? South Carolina, let's put that on the map. Beautiful place. Yep. South Carolina. So we're trying to find out the trajectory of the object, right? South Carolina. There you go, South Carolina, USA. So it was shot down here somewhere, the balloon. So first it went over Alaska, then Canada. Canada did nothing about it. Then it flew over the United States and was shot down here, right? That's the official story. Now we have another object in Canada that was shot down at the Yukon. And that did not resemble a balloon, according to the article we just showed you guys. So what happened there? And why did Canada leave the Chinese spy balloon flying over Canada and flying over the U.S.? Why did they leave that? And the other object they shot down, in the Yukon area. Yeah. Very, very interesting stuff. Dus waarom laat Canada een ballon vliegen over Canada en Amerika en wordt die neergehaald bij South Carolina? Hoe kan dat? Terwijl deze andere object, die we net lieten zien, het artikel, die wordt dan neergehaald in de Yukon. Waarom wordt die ballon niet neergehaald in de Yukon gebied? Nou ja. Het zal wel, het zal allemaal wel. Goed. We hebben je op de hoogte gebracht van geschiedenis en ook een klein beetje geopolitiek. Dus een beetje Canada laten zien. Natuurlijk gebeurt er veel meer, maar we zijn al over de tijd heen. So, we're streaming 1 hour and 2 minutes and 37 seconds right now. And we are at the end of the broadcast. And of course, we have Ollie the Octopus singing us the famous song, They're Going to Get You. So I thank you all for watching. And we're going to show you guys Ollie the Octopus. There we go.
Okay. Rolling?
Hello, this is Ollie the Octopus.
Hi, here we are outside the US Embassy. I'm about to play my song. It's called They're Going to Get You. We're filming them because they film us. If you don't renew your tax disc, you'll be driving at your own risk. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. They can use their Jedi mind tricks, psychometric biometrics. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. CCTV in your clamshell turning in the grave of Orwell. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. DNA no longer your own because they've mapped out your genome. Be careful what you say when you're on the phone because they know where you live. Them when you're on your own. Daddies, watch your daughters. There's Prozac in the water. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. Don't start a revolution. They'll get you with their air pollution. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. Because we think we are paranoid. Their forces are still deployed. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. They get your details in the docu. Now they know you. They're going to get you. Careful what you say when you're on the phone because they know where you live and when you're on your own. over here for the last verse.
Nice one.
Good afternoon.
By the way, because I know we're from the police entertainment unit, here to make your day a little bit more exciting. We've entertainment. Have you not heard of us?
They'll look you up for them, it's not hard, so look your best on your ID card. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. They can make your life live in hell if you even mention Roswell. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. You can join in if you want. They're going to get you, they're going
To get you, they're going to get you. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. They're going to get you.
Be careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live when you're on your own. Be careful what you say, be careful when you're on the phone, because they know where you live, they know when you're on your own. Be careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live when you're on your own, 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 on your
You are allowed to clap.
Ollie the Octopus, thank you very much for that.
Sorry, just to explain, if I may, police, I think you probably don't know about the police entertainment department, but it's a group of us, and what we do various things to kind of cheer up the police and get them a bit more connected to us, the ununiformed. One of the, I'm actually the head of the police hugging department. Yeah, all right. And
No hugs?
you're not up for a hug?
Hugging makes the world
Sir?
a better place. Can we hug
Are
you?
up for a hug, sir?
Can we please hug you?
No?
But it's only a nice hug.
It's just a hug.
We're
Go
all
on.
we're all
Are
beautiful
you
and
allowed
unique
to?
snowflakes of Mother Nature and all the rest of it. No?
I question myself that sometimes, are we beautiful and unique snowflakes of Mother Nature? I believe there is good in man, and there is also evil in man and woman, right? So, are we all beautiful and unique snowflakes? Depends on which path you take, right? So question. Stel vragen. Hè? Vragen. Hoe zit dit? Hoe zit dat? Put the fire to the feet of the politician. Not literally, but figuratively. You know, confront these people. They think they have power over you, but they don't. You were born free, and you will die free. And during the time, well, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but you know, do something good. Help one another. In times of need, people also need comfort. Right? Goed, we gaan er vandoor. Ja, het was meer in het Engels dan in het Nederlands. Want zoals ik al eerder in het begin van de uitzending zei, ik was dus in een groep van Canadezen en Amerikanen. En die wisten niks over Nederland te vertellen. Dat inspireerde me dan toch weer om de Nederlandse geschiedenis maar even aan te halen. So I was in a group with Canadians and Americans and they knew nothing about Dutch history, which inspired me to do a live broadcast about Dutch history. I thank you all for watching And